We want to solve the quadratic equation 2x squared minus 4x minus 3 equals 0 using the quadratic formula provided here in red, where a is the coefficient of the x squared term, b is the coefficient of the x term, and c is the constant. So looking at our equation, we need to recognize that a is equal to 2, b is going to be equal to negative 4 due to the subtraction, and c is going to be equal to negative 3. So now we'll perform substitution into the quadratic formula. So we'll have x equals negative b, which is going to be negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is negative 4 squared, minus 4 times a times c, where a is 2 and c is negative 3. And all of this is over 2 times a, or 2 times 2. Notice how in this first step we only perform the substitution, and now we'll begin to simplify. So we have x equals, this will be positive 4, plus or minus the square root. Negative 4 squared is 16, and here we can think of this as negative 4 times positive 2, that's negative 8, times negative 3, that's positive 24, so we have plus 24 all over 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. So we have x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of, this is going to be 40 all over 4. The next step is to simplify the square root of 40. We're looking for perfect square factors of 40. Well, 40 is equal to 4 times 10. 4 is a perfect square. The square root of 4 is equal to 2. So this simplifies to 2 square root 10. So now we have x equals 4 plus or minus 2 square root 10 all over 4. And now we need to continue simplifying, but we need to be careful. We cannot simplify these two 4's because we cannot simplify across addition or subtraction. So there are two ways to simplify this correctly. One way, since we're dividing by a monomial, would be to divide the terms in the numerator by 4. We can write this as 4 over 4 plus or minus 2 square root 10 over 4. And then we simplify each fraction individually. We have x equals, this would be 1 plus or minus, here the 2 and the 4 simplify. This simplifies to 1, this simplifies to 2. So we'd have square root 10 all over 2. Notice we have two real irrational solutions. One solution is 1 plus square root 10 over 2. The other solution is 1 minus square root 10 over 2. But I do want to mention, if we simplify this in a slightly different way, while the answers will be equivalent, the form will be slightly different. If we go back up to this form here, x equals 4 plus or minus 2 square root 10 divided by 4, and factor the greatest common factor out of the numerator, which would be 2, we would have 2 times the quantity 2 plus square root 10 all over 4, which we can write as 2 times 2. In this form, we can simplify this 2 over this 2, so we could also express the solution in simplest form as x equals 2 plus or minus square root 10 all over 2. So again, this form here in blue and this form here in green are in simplest form, even though it's expressed slightly different. Personally, I prefer this form here because breaking this up into two fractions usually leads to less errors when simplifying. Okay, I hope you found this helpful.